What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over how to install WP-CLI on your Windows computer. It's a very slight difference when you're doing it in Mac OS, and I'll do a separate video for that one as well. Before we get started, if you can, consider supporting the channel by purchasing a copy of DevWP. It's my development theme where I teach people how to code custom WordPress themes. I put in thousands of hours and years into developing a workflow that's efficient and productive. And by purchasing a copy of DevWP, you help out the channel. You could also check out some of my other videos. And I do have a very long video on WP-CLI, but this one's going to be a jumpstart video. What is WP-CLI? Well, it's the command line interface for WordPress. You can update plugins, configure multi-site installations, and much more. Basically, it enables you to set up WordPress in a very fast and streamlined process. So you can go to the quick links over here, click install. On Windows, you can go to this file right here and you can download it to your system. But I'm not going to download it there just yet. I want to show you where I actually download it to. What I did on my system is I went to my user account, my user profile, and I created a bin folder. And this is where you would download that file to. The reason why I created the bin folder is because I want to be able to have it within my path on my user account. So that's where you would download it to. I'm going to click cancel because I already have it. But if you don't have it, click on save into that folder. If you don't have the bin folder, which you most likely don't, you can always just create a new folder in the root of your user account. And I called it bin. Next thing you want to do is go to your path environment, go to environment variables. And you see here, I placed it within my user account. If you don't have it there, again, click on new. You would search by clicking on browse, and then you would look for that bin folder, click on it, and then click OK. I already have it, so no need for me to do it, but that's how you would do it. Now what I'm going to do is go into VS Code. I'll type out CD for change directory and hit enter. Then I'll hit ls-leh, and you see I have the bin folder there. So now I'm going to go into the bin folder. CD space bin. You see I have a couple of files here. I have the WP-CLI FAR file. Then I have a WP file right here. Then I have install-wp.sh. So I'm going to start WP. It's going to ask me what program I want to use. I'll say VS Code. And this is what I place within that WP file. Since you won't have the WP file initially, you can always type out touch and then WP. And it doesn't need an extension. What's really cool is if you want to use Nano, you could use that within your terminal as well. So you could use a command line editor inside of your text editor or code editor. But I'll do a deep dive on how to use Nano in another video. All right, so what I'm doing here is making sure that WP-CLI knows how to work with my system. So copy this code right here. Now you see the other file I have over here, right? Install-wp.sh. So I'm going to open that file. We opened it up. So what I'm doing here is this is bash scripting. It's a bash file, hence the .sh. I'm defining variables. This is my shebang up here, but over here I'm defining variables. So we're going to create a database, WP test, localhost, the username, the password. We have the folder we're going to want it installed in, the site URL, the site title. We'll create the demo user account with the password, the email. Then down here we have the commands we could use with WP-CLI. Now, the beauty with this is that it's going to automate the entire process for you. You can run these commands individually via the command line, and I go over that in detail in that almost 1 hour long video on how to use WP-CLI. But this file over here, it automates the process for you. And this means you do not need to manually download and configure WordPress. So we have the WP core download command here. We're going to create the config file. We're going to set the debug to true. We're going to create the database. We're going to install WordPress itself. And again, it's using the variables that we set up here. We'll delete the default plugins. We'll install some new plugins over here. We'll activate the plugins. We'll delete the default post and page. We'll even generate some default content. Set the permalink. We'll create a couple of users. And then we'll let ourselves know that everything works successfully. So if you want to take some time, take a look at this. Now, the beauty is if you get DevWP, you have all this already set up in the docs section, but you could just pause the video and type out this stuff. I'll go back into terminal. I'll use my alias for quick navigation to the htdocs folder. In another video, I'll show you how to use aliases, but for now you could use CD and then you just put in this path right there. And then from here, what I could do is type out WP space -- info, and it shows you your information. Now you have to make sure that you have your server on. So you see here I have XAMPP is already running. You see right now I only have WordPress there. Let me go back to the browser. Let's go to localhost. Let's go to phpMyAdmin. We see these are the databases I currently have. Back to VS Code. So now what I'll do is I'll just run the command install-wp.sh. Now by doing this, it'll run through the process of all these commands. And since WP-CLI is in my bin folder, and since it's in my path, I can run that command from anywhere in my system. So I'll just type out install-wp.sh. Then I'll hit enter. And you see it's giving you a breakdown of what it's doing. It creates a directory, it downloads WordPress, and this is a more streamlined version or way of getting a brand new installation set up on your system. You see it's running through its process. And this is what automation is all about. It makes your life a whole lot easier. It shows it installed 13 plugins. It activated the plugins itself, deleted the posts, is generating some posts, and there we go. WordPress installed successfully. Let's go back to our browser. Notice over here we don't have that WP test database yet, but if we refresh the page itself, now we see it there. Click on it. You see you have the same 12 database tables. Remember, we're going based on the folder itself, the name of the folder. So localhost /WP test. We see we have it there. Now we can log in, put in your username and the password. And now you see we have that there. But you also see that we have some other features. And that's because we activated some plugins. So if we go to plugins over here, see the installed. You see we have all of these plugins installed and they're activated. So instead of actually having to add a new plugin, search for it, install it, and going through that process manually, we automate the process with that specific file. WP-CLI is very powerful. Let's go back to VS Code. I'll clear the screen. What we could do, change directory to WP test, see what we have there. You could type out WP theme list, and you see the different themes that we have installed. You could run a whole host of commands on this. I do have a longer video, so if you want to see all the commands, definitely check it out. I'll probably do an updated video where I do a deep dive in how to use WP-CLI. But basically, let's say you want to use the 2022 theme. Currently, we have 2024 is active. So you could type out WP theme 2022 activate. It's actually WP theme activate 2022. And now we switch to that. Go back to the browser, and now you see we're running a different theme. You can check out your sidebars. You can regenerate your thumbnails. Now, if you're running on XAMPP, I should have covered this in the XAMPP tutorial itself. We can go to our INI file, click on that, and over here, we have to uncomment the extension GD. We'll save that, and then we have to restart Apache. So let's stop it. We'll stop MySQL also, then we'll start it again. And now we'll hit the up arrow to get that previous command, WP media regenerate, and hit enter. And it says, do you really want to regenerate all images? Click on yes. There were no images found, but if there were, it would go through the process of regenerating them. In another video, I'll show you how to install the theme unit test data, and then we'll go through this WP media regenerate, and it'll start the process of regenerating all those images. If there's any other plugins you want to install, type out plugin, and then the name of the plugin itself. If there's a core update, you can type out WP core update. Then it'll show you if it's updating to a new version. Since we installed the WordPress beta tester, there is an update for that. So now it's downloading it, it's unpacking, and it's going to update our system. And once it's done, you get the success WordPress updated successfully. All right, so this is a very quick introduction to WP-CLI and how to install it on Windows. If you do use macOS as well, I'll have another video for that. The process is very similar, but there are some differences that I want to cover. All right, so hopefully you found the video helpful. If you can support the project, head on over to pixumweb.com and support the channel by purchasing a copy of DevWP. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification icon. And as always, thanks for watching and happy coding.